Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Me got some question where me like ask him, Minister of Justice, series of questions. But first, Mr. Speaker, me like just clarify legally one pla. Media article and been come up on newspaper tete, lo post Korea, where he talk lo one pla project lo province lo mipla, where it's lo project complete. We like talk thank you lo Ministry of Justice na all workman blend lo workings lo work. Na thank you lo all newspaper, all media where only been reporting sla, but me like ask him also enough only talk savel lo name lo this pla member of parliament am responsible, na name lo this company, na date one time this pla project they been come up, because me pla lo provincial government, me pla aware lo this pla project, me pla bin sawe, na me pla aware also me no stop lo this pla term. So enough media he clarify him so that me pla all get can sawe. Mr. Speaker, question lo me like ask him lo Minister of Justice. Na me like him police minister, na prime minister lo take note. Na in fact, me all get must take note. Na take note as all, but enough me play kiss him strong pla think na make him some action he come up. This pla question him lo one pla deplorable trend, which I must concern me all get. This trend that I speak of is the injustice that's becoming increasingly prevalent insofar as violence against the most vulnerable in our society is concerned. Let me put some context to my questions before I ask them. Yesterday, there was a protest march in Mendi demanding justice for the murder of a young woman who was killed in her prime, allegedly by her husband. This protest took place because apparently there was insufficient evidence, or the presentation of the prosecution file was not in order, or whatever excuse or reason, and for that the matters were dismissed. This is becoming so normal and prevalent in our society today. And this form of abhorrent violence is becoming so frequent that it is now becoming normalized. And if we are not careful, we shall become numb to it. But we must not accept this. We must do something drastic to counter this rise in evil against our women folk and children. And I say children because they are even more vulnerable and prone to be silent victims, given that they cannot speak or act to save themselves. Countless many are abused and harmed, even killed in our midst, and we do utter nothing about this. We read about it, we hear about it, and now we even see it on the internet, and we still do nothing. How can we stand here and pray and claim to be leaders when we do nothing about the most vulnerable in our society? Meanwhile, we see that there is a breakdown in what we call the justice system. Somehow, these matters are often snuffed out like the lives of countless women and children before they are even given the opportunity to even whisper their cry for justice. Mr. Speaker, this is not just a legacy issue. This is an issue that has confronted us over the last few decades, and every government has tried its best. But I would like us as a government, and indeed, Mr. Speaker, if you can also add the weight of your office, we must do something about this. Our people are crying for justice. In fact, I'm informed that there was an attempt or even an idea by members of the community to burn down the Hagen courthouse because they were so disgusted at this. Minister, my question to you through our speaker, will your ministry conduct a review of the situation that leads or gives rise to this despicable growing cancer in our society? Will you assure this House and this nation that this government is serious about addressing this by proposing a series of tactical and strategic action items to rectify this? If so, can you elaborate what are these proposed actions you intend to take? And can I ask if a review of the investigations and prosecution's capacity and quality of work output be reviewed so as to determine where there seems to be such a rash of poor quality investigations and lackluster prosecutions, leading to an injustice that continues to pervade our nation? Can we seriously consider adequately remunerating those involved in this vital chain of the justice system so that the system is robust and balanced. And here I make a side note about how much more those involved in the dispensing of justice at the end of the process are remunerated as compared to those who are defending, investigating, and prosecuting them. Thank you.
Honourable Minister of Justice.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And I acknowledge the series of questions asked by the Governor for oral, and they're valid questions. It's an issue I also was concerned about after reading on the front page as well through social media of numerous cases of a trend occurring where cases are being dismissed at the committal court, or in some cases even getting to trial and the judgments or sentencing handed down by the national court appear to be compensated through payments of compensation rather than sentencing of imprisonment, given these involved cases of murder and serious crimes. So, as I mentioned to the Governor, these issues, when it comes to criminal prosecution, lie in the jurisdiction of the public prosecutor, which is a constitutional office that falls outside the jurisdiction of the Department of Justice. And under the Constitution, he is beyond anyone's direction or control. But soon after becoming aware of those cases, I did have a meeting with Secretary for Justice and the AG and asked if he could meet with the public prosecutor to find out the circumstances behind those cases that led to those judgments or led to matters being dismissed at the committal, whether it was a case of poor investigation, insufficient evidence, or possibly an error in the judgment, that his department may consider appealing. And the AG did confirm he did meet with the public prosecutor, and he did give an undertaking to have his staff review those cases and to consider whether those cases will be brought back before the Supreme Court for appeal. That is essentially where the response in relation to those queries. On the issue of DJ carrying out reforms in police investigation, now in the position of justice, that's essentially outside of our jurisdiction, but there are reforms being undertaken by the current Minister for Police, as well as reforms under DJAG that'll work together. And as we've seen recently with a number of high-profile arrests concerning money laundering and white-collar crime, there are also reforms being carried out in investigations of serious crimes like murder, especially those concerning women and children. So I don't have the specific details right now before me to be able to give to the Governor of this Parliament, but I'll be happy to, in other sessions, provide a detailed statement to that effect. Thank you.